So, growing up when I was a kid, I was a fan of the NBA Jam games, and when I saw that Arcade 1-Up had made an NBA Jam unit, it was one of the ones that was on my wish list, but unfortunately I never really hit the boat for when it was out, and especially missed it when it was really on sale on places like TSC. And I'd been kind of loosely looking for one used, but recently I found that there was a partycade on sale, and this was actually at like a liquidation place, but I found it for a really good price of $200 all in, and decided to pick it up because, as you can tell from some of the previous reviews I've done on here, I'm a big fan of the partycades. But does this unit hold up to the other partycades, or are there some issues with it? So take a look at this video. I'm going to go into that in just a moment. So to start off, like I said, I got this from a liquidation place, so this box looks pretty beat up as I took it apart here. But in the box, what you get is you get the normal feet that come with most partycades, as well as the wall mount. The one thing that's missing is the door mount, which to me doesn't really matter because I would never use that, but I assume Arcade 1-Up realized that not many people are hanging these off of their doors, so they're not including it in the box. You also, of course, get your power adapter for the partycade, so pretty standard affair here. Now, after I set it up, to go over the looks themselves, I'm not a huge fan of the styling. I think that it looks okay at best. I actually like the full-size NBA Jams look, but I never really cared for the Shaq version that they released, and this goes the same for the partycade. It looks to me just kind of plain, I guess. The other thing that I dislike is I'm not sure if this is because this is the type of model that I got, or if this is the only model they offer for the partycade, but this unit doesn't have a light-up marquee. Now, it looks crisp, but there's no actual light-up marquee, which kind of sucks because I've become accustomed to my last two partycades having a proper light-up marquee. The one thing I will highlight, though, is this definitely is using a BOE monitor. I think the monitor itself looks fantastic. I've looked at it from a couple different angles, and it looks crisp all the way through. As well as, this has most of the standard features that you see on some of the newer partycades, like variable sound settings. You also have a pause function, and as well as a settings feature for each game, you know, to enable things like scan lines and stuff like that. There's also a weird input menu that I'm not sure really what the purpose of that is for, but it's there. Maybe someone else who's used this can explain more. I don't really understand why it's there, but it is there. As far as the games go, you have the same standard 3 games: NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and NBA Hang Time. All 3 of those games I personally like. Of course, NBA Jam gets my nod because it's the one I played most when I was a kid. So I personally really like that game itself. As far as playing it, I thought it emulated really well. I had no issues overall. I've rarely really had issues with Arcade 1-Up's emulation, so I like the way this performs. The buttons themselves feel good. The thing that I don't like is the joystick itself feels almost a little loose. It feels almost like my first generation Street Fighter 2 cabinet's joystick, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Now, it works and it seems responsive, but it just doesn't seem to have the same build quality as my Street Fighter 2 partycade. And I'm pretty relaxed on most things Arcade 1-Up, but it's just something I noticed right out of the box. Actually, when I got it out of the box, I was actually worried that the joystick might have had an issue because it felt almost so loose compared to my other units at this point. Now, there's a couple other things that I also really dislike. For some reason, Arcade 1-Up has taken a step back, and this unit only features mono sound. Now, of course, a lot of these older games, the sound's not a major issue to me, but it just seems weird that they only have one speaker outputted on this versus the 2 that's become standard on some of the more recent partycades. The second thing that really perplexes me here is there's no actual USB for a second player. So that might have been okay if there was a Wi-Fi function or something, which I'm still unsure why Arcade 1-Up doesn't want to expand their online player base by allowing Wi-Fi on more of their units than just their 3/4 scale cabinets. So the fact that there's no USB function kind of sucks. I'm probably one of the few people, especially on the Street Fighter 2 Partycade, who does use that. My son and I will plug it in and play some games together, like Captain Commando on that, and it sucks that I wasn't able to do that with this unit. Now, of course, I do enjoy this game. I enjoy playing it by myself, but it sucks that if someone comes over, they can't hook up a secondary controller and play this with me. It seems like a really weird design choice from Arcade1Up, especially because if you buy this thing at full retail, it's actually a little bit more expensive, as I understand, than the Street Fighter 2 Partycade or even the Miss Pac-Man Partycade. So, seems like a really weird choice that Arcade1Up wouldn't have that here. And to be straightforward with you, if I did not buy this for $200 all in, I probably would have skipped this entirely. And now, again, I'm a fan of the Partycades, especially because I have a tiny space for my arcade, so it helps me conserve room. But that feature really sucks, that it doesn't have that, that doesn't have the secondary player for it. So, overall, I like some of the features on this unit. I like that it has a good monitor. The games emulate well. For the most part, even though I have a couple concessions about the joystick, it's responsive and it works. But overall, it's really unfortunate that Arcade1Up did not decide to include a Wi-Fi functionality or a secondary player port on this machine. It seems really odd to me that that's not there, and it actually detracts from this unit overall as far as I'm concerned. So ultimately, I got it for a good price, so I'm mostly satisfied with it. But there's definitely some problems with this Partycade that should be considered if you're in the market to buy this, and especially if you're looking at paying full price.